This is TWiT.
I think there's some news from Apple. The word of the hour.
No, it's not news. It's news that there will be news. It's not actually news.
No, this is news. Look, we've been holding on for this for some time.
Okay, let's call it news. Fine.
Mark
Gurman, the whip, and we jump right through that hoop, don't we?
Yeah, whatever they want. Mark Gurman said it would be September 12th, the iPhone 15 Apple Watch Series 9 event. And sure, lo and behold, it's announced. You got the invite, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, it was showing up in everybody's mailboxes. It's, what do they call it? It's a Wonderlust, not Wanderlust. Wonderlust.
First of all, I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you, that Apple used the word lust in a sentence. So Wanderlust is what? The desire to travel. What's Wonderlust?
I wonder how Apple managed to screw up USB-C so they could still be as defiant as saying, no, you didn't make us do anything we didn't want to do. Enjoy your like 1,200 baud data connections. Stupid person.
I love it.
I'm counting on Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt's coming.
Thunderbolt. Oh, there's the wonder. Wonder. So I don't know. I mean, I guess the good news is you can Google Wonderlust and pretty much find Apple right away. So by making up a name, they've come up.
Just another marketing tag to let us spin our wheels for another couple of weeks. But the idea here is that we're going to get that iPhone event and it's going to happen like Mark Gurman said, and iPhone and Apple Watch. And who knows if there'll be anything other than that. I guess we'll get spoiled about all that in the next couple of weeks because this is when the rumors really start flying.
Don't confuse it with the 2020 movie Wonderlust. The preacher's in love with the sunshine schizophrenic. The range runner has a family of 5 with one more on the way. And the professor is a cerebral alcohol aficionado. As for Slab City's unofficial sheriff, he shot and killed his stepfather at age 6.
That's it. You spoiled it. That's what it is.
Here's the movie that Apple will be playing on the stage. Tim Cook's going to come out and say, "Good morning. We'd like to show you a movie about a preacher in love with a sunshine schizophrenic." That would be funny, but not for very long. So they are going to announce what, Jason?
iPhone, Apple Watch, maybe other things related to those. If you think about it, the Apple Watch is kind of the ultimate iPhone accessory, but they'll have a new set of accessories, and maybe there'll be an AirPods thing or not. I don't know, but like it would not be a bad time for that. Maybe they could do a reset on some of their services. It is the thing I always think about the iPhone event is that it is Apple's most watched event of the year. It is the most popular product, and so people pay attention, which not only means that they'll talk about the new iPhone, but they're going to talk about other stuff that they want to get in front of people's eyes. So whatever that might be, this is your chance to get out in front of the biggest audience you get in a year. And all of us who work in media around Apple know that this is the one that has the biggest audience. Like people are interested in the iPhone. So new high-end iPhone is the rumor, right? We've been talking about it all summer. Titanium instead of stainless steel, which is great because stainless steel is really heavy, and so these should be lighter phones. Change the colors. A lot of rumors about camera upgrades, USB-C. There's a bunch of stuff that they're throwing in here. I think that this is potentially the most appreciable iPhone change in the last like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, particularly for camera fans. And also we're still hearing rumors left and right about maybe we're going to see a price increase, at least on the Pros, that some people aren't going to like. Who knows? But we'll find out in a couple of weeks anyway. But I'm keen to say Apple's probably one of the few companies that can get by with saying, you know what, we have decided to jack up the price of our very, very tippity-toppity most phones by another, let's say, $100, because A, we know that people can absorb it, and B, if it puts some distance between the Pros and the more affordable ones, it will make the more affordable ones seem like budget phones, and that's right up our alley too.
I'm also curious, the whole ecosystem of Lightning devices that is still out there, like the MagSafe Duo, Apple's MagSafe battery pack, all the AirPods cases and even AirPods Max, how many of those will actually see switch to USB-C along with the phone. I would think AirPods, at least it might be a case update. Even if they don't release new versions of it, they might say now shipping with USB-C, or you can buy a USB-C case. But things like the MagSafe Duo, I think is long due for a refresh. I use it still sometimes, but like even with the Apple Watch, it's a little janky. You know, you can't really have the little Apple Watch charger all the way up at 90 degrees because the Apple Watch is too big. So curious how they're going to refresh those different devices to match USB-C alongside with the iPhone 15.
Yeah. Wonder if they're going to have a new. They already have like a USB-C to Lightning cable, but I wonder if they're going to do like a dongle, like when they replace the coin slot, the standard iPod connector with Lightning.
Do they need to though? I mean. I think actually, in some ways, it's good. Apple says it, but don't worry, all those Lightning cables and accessories you bought will still be useful for charging your AirPods. So there's that.
Yeah, congratulations. We no, that Apple could come out and say our customers love the Lightning cable, and we're happy to announce that you can still carry one with you wherever you go because your AirPods won't be able to charge with USB-C.
Is that the only thing left? They changed the Apple TV remote to Type-C, right?
All the Mac accessories, trackpad and mouse and keyboard are all Lightning.
And aren't there some earlier like cheaper iPads that are still Lightning?
Maybe
sure.
Haven't been updated yet? Yeah,
that haven't been updated. There, I think there are there iPads? The iPads, there's like the previous generation iPad, I think, that's still kicking out there. But they've been turning over a lot of their products for a while now, but this is why a lot of us say there are rumors that the iMac is going to finally get an M3 this fall. Seems like the right time for them to refresh their keyboard and mouse and trackpad so that they don't charge on Lightning, and we can just clear Lightning out of the entire product line.
But Stephen makes a good point that I wonder how many features this USB-C connector are going to have. Like, it would be wonderful if it were Thunderbolt, like on the iPad Pros. You might.
That's expensive, though. The licensing for Thunderbolt is expensive. I don't see Apple.
It's expensive. That. I mean, they could put it on the Pros, especially if they say, "Hey, look how big the video files that we're creating with our new wonderful high definition stuff are." It would be incredible if they use that connector to also do things like, guess what? You can also connect video directly to the bottom of the device. Again, but this would be another reason to say, here's why the iPhone, the Pro line is a very, very special, rarefied sort of device. It does things that are for people who just want the phone that has absolutely everything in it, even if it doesn't necessarily make sense. I don't think you're going to see like a second screen capability on an iPhone ever, but it would be interesting to see, like, if they decide to put Lightning on it, what they would allow that port to do.
Or Thunderbolt. Yeah, that's the.
I'm sorry, Thunderbolt.
That's the question. I don't know. I mean, I think that it's not a high percentage chance, but like, how do you define Pro? I mean, they've already got Stage Manager on the iPad. Like, would they ever think like, yeah, it's Pro? If you want to plug that Thunderbolt into a display, you get basically like Stage Manager, like it's an iPad, and you can work on that if you want to. I doubt they'll do that. I think they want you to buy an iPad or a Mac to do that. But like, you do think that they've got to be running through all the ideas of like, how do we define a Pro feature? What are the things that we can put in this phone to justify its higher price and potentially its higher price?
So I'm on the Apple website with the little dissolving apple on my iPhone. How do I do the VR with this? Where can I make the apple appear dissolving in my?
I don't think there's an AR feature this year.
Yeah, 9 to 5 Mac says that this is the first time since 2020 when they've had one of these invites that did not have an AR like.
Well, there you go. They're giving up on AR. I knew they would. The Vision Pro is history. It's all over.
Yeah.
Why didn't they do it?
I'm sorry. I like bandwagons.
Hop on that bandwagon.
You got to wait for the Vision Pro now. It's not good enough unless it's
okay. Maybe that's it. Like, we would do it, but we want you to do it right. Wonderlust.
That was AR for poor people, and Apple is not in the poor people AR
not
business.
Anymore, baby. Get your checkbook ready. Please join us for a special Apple event broadcasting from Apple Park. That's interesting. Have they used that phrase broadcasting before? Or they finally decided to let you know it's not going to be anything that you couldn't see at home?
Yeah, I think they've done that before.
Okay.
I think that the idea is that they're streaming. That's for the stream, right? There are two invitations, right? There's the invitation to come to Apple Park, and there's the invitation to watch the stream.
Oh, interesting. So baby Mark Gurman, like me,
he's invited to watch. Well, Leo, were you invited to watch the stream though? Because if you weren't,
I wasn't even invited to watch the stream. I wasn't even invited.
It might be a little embarrassing for you to watch it if you weren't invited.
You can't even watch the stream, Laporte. Well, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway.
Oh,
September 12th, which is a Tuesday, right? 10 a.m. Pacific time. I will be in Rhode Island at my mom's. So I guess I'll be doing the show from my mom's basement. Something many have thought I should be anyway.
You're right. I think this is a time where you want to be with family.
Yeah.
You want to be sharing this momentous moment together.
My sister, my mom, and I will be holding hands when they announce the iPhone 15.
I have a cousin who's going to freak out when she learns that there's a periscope camera involved. It's she has a thing about periscopes. We don't know how it happened, but
Will there be a crank though? Because if there could only be a crank, then I would be interested.
You could be the crank, Leo.
I am crank. Thank you very much. So yours does not say. It's funny that Gurman got one that says watch the stream at apple.com.
He was invited for a little while, but then he wasn't. Apple's, I will say this about that event.
Good company.
That event is at the Steve Jobs Theater, and it's got a pretty decent capacity, but again, the iPhone event is the biggest event, and it's also the most international event. They invite media from all over the world to come to that event. There's a lot of broadcast media that comes to that event. It is the toughest of all of the tickets when there's an event at Apple Park because of the interest in the iPhone, and they do make a real effort to get people there from all over the world. And so it's always the one where you see people getting... some people get invited and some people don't. And then like people sneak in later when other people are dropping out. And it's a tough ticket. It's like, any tough ticket for a concert or something like that. You can tell they're not as free with the invitations as they are for something like a Mac event, certainly, or even WWDC, where they've got a lot of extra
space. You don't have to make me feel better.
That's why
I didn't even get I didn't even get the invite Mark Gurman got. For just say, watch this online. Here's the one that you got, Jason, that says, "Oh, please join us in person for a special Apple.
Get a little Apple Wallet pass and everything with
at
that
the
one.
Steve Jobs Theater in Apple Park, September 12th, 10 a.m. Pacific. RSVP. So, did you RSVP already?
Gotta click that little button. Yeah, click the button.
I keep clicking it. Nothing happens.
If you don't know French, they don't want you. That's for an American company.
Isn't that funny? Répondez, s'il vous plaît.
Répondez-vous, s'il vous plaît. Yeah. But Jason raises a good point. It's like there's been a shift like in the past 5 or 10 years where it's like most of the seats in that theater are for specific purposes, so to speak. Where it's not that, hey, we're going to get if we've got 500 invites to give to the press, we're going to get the 500 most influential members of the press, or the 500 members of the press with the largest audience. There's going to be some seats that we want to fill because they are YouTubers with really huge audiences. Some we're going to fill because they work for newspapers and journalistic outposts of record. Somewhere this is part of the marketing that we're not really reaching, and we want to make sure we reach out to this part of the market or this part of the country, and people who just have a really good relationship with Apple, and that's not meant as a sucky uppy sort of thing. It means that they're very, very good at here's what I would like, here's what I need. If this is available, this would be great. And so if it turns out that there are seats available, then this person who you may not have heard of and you don't think, goodness, this person doesn't have much of an audience, that's how they get in, because they are very, very good at doing their job, which is to if there's a seat there, I want to try to get in there. And so that's why they sort of keep tugging at the ear and that sort of thing. So it's not, so there, I mean, what Jason could probably remember, there was like, who was it that was tracking, like they're maintaining a chart of who got invited, who didn't get invited, who got early hardware, who did not get early hardware. And it's like, oh geez, this is, I mean, this is, high school was a long time ago, and I don't want to do that again.
And their ways are mysterious. I mean, there are different PR groups and different marketing groups, and they all have different reasons. This has always been the case, dating back to the early days of Steve Jobs. Sometimes people get invitations and you're like, why? And other people don't. And you're like, huh? And that's just, they have different allotments for different things. And so you'll have like print journalists and broadcast journalists and YouTubers and podcasters, and like everybody's in a different slot. And then international PR, which is not domestic PR. And then there's the VIPs and the analysts and anybody who's mentioned in the keynote, and like all of those things go into it. It is complicated, and like I said, this is the toughest ticket. Yeah.
And they also include some seats, I think, still for engineers, people who are working the crunch hours. It's a sort of a thank you very much for working so hard to get this through the door. We're getting you a seat at the event so that you can be there when we show off all of
the Apple people sit in front, Jason, and then
generally VIPs and the Apple people sit in front. Although now that they don't show that, they're just showing a video. I think maybe the rules are a little bit different. Like, do you need to be in the theater to show your product off when nobody's going to see it because nobody's actually watching the theater? They're just watching the video on the screen. Maybe, but the rule, so it's a little bit different because you're not part of the show when you're there. But it used to be they would stack up Apple employees and VIPs down at the bottom by the stage, and they were the ones who you could actually, there was no applause sign, but you could tell when they were expected to applaud in order to create that kind of like momentary audience feel.
Expectant pause in the flow, like.
By the end, the applauses happened before the applause line. And it was really like by the end of their live events, they were really pumping that up.
See, Tim, I'm applauding. I'm applauding, Tim. Yeah. See?
Yeah.
This episode of Tech Break is brought to you by ACI Learning. If you're ready for a new career in IT, then check out ACI Learning. They offer affordable certification-based training that will help you launch your new career in IT. Individuals use the code TWiT30 for 30% off a standard or premium individual IT Pro membership at go.acilearning.com/twit.